And ladies and gentlemen, it's about fucking time. We almost got him, baby. Welcome to the Schmoes Show. I'm the infamous Orion, and I'm feeling pretty good lately. I don't know what it is. You ever feel like you just got validated out of fucking nowhere?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Also, my move is fucking over. So, that was pretty great. I went back and re-listened to the episode without my proper microphone. I sound like I
Mhm.
should be fucking punched in the face in that episode.
It was a bit rough,
Th-
but it was serviceable.
It made me sound way more nasally than my voice actually is.
I see it. Yes, that is true.
Yeah.
It was, not ideal conditions.
It was like I was talking like this for the whole episode.
Uh, fuck. Kyril,
Mm.
how are you?
I am very tired, but very good.
Where the
I'm
fuck
ready.
were you last night?
Last night, I was at the test pilot after party following the Breakaway Music Festival in Grand Rapids.
And he didn't come to see me at my new schwanky pad.
You know, I need to.
Yeah.
It's like a good excuse for me to go see another show because, like, I don't have to drive home. I can just go spend the night.
You know, I feel awful because when you first moved to your place, my car was
Mhm.
having troubles, which is why I never went
Mm.
down. And I always said to myself, as soon as like, it gets all fixed, I'm probably going to go down and visit him. Yeah,
Mhm.
that never happened.
Well, to be fair, my apartment kind of sucks, so
Does
I'm
it?
fine with that.
Oh.
It's very small. Yeah.
How much is your square feet?
500, I think.
Okay, yeah, that is pretty fucking small. Never mind.
Yeah, it does the job it needs to, but
I'm sitting at about 835.
mm, yeah.
Yeah.
I am glad that it is, as affordable as it is, relatively speaking. Rent sucks.
Rent does suck. Did you hear people are fucking going to do a rent strike when the student loans are kicked back in?
I I'm not too surprised by that, but best of luck to them. I wouldn't have high hopes for that working out so well in their favor.
No, I'm pretty sure there are like lease agreements that prevent that from even happening.
Yeah, in especially so now that the COVID era rent eviction moratoriums have ended.
Oh yeah, we live in a post rent eviction moratorium. Blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah. Fuck.
it was like really noticeable. I was over in Battle Creek a few weeks ago, like the weekend after the moratorium lifted, and it was like noticeably more homeless people just sort of like wandering around. It was kind of sad. Not even kind of sad. It was depressing. It's like, damn, this sucks.
In Grand Rapids, we're having that as like a problem as well.
Mhm.
There's like a lot of homeless people hanging out at my girlfriend's mire that she works at.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I feel awful. That's really fucking shitty.
hmm It is rough out there, to be sure.
Yeah, economy's not going to get much better, Jack.
hmm
We gave
But
it a chance.
at least they haven't been charged with RICO. They've always got that going for them.
Speak for yourself. I've been charged with Rico so many fucking times. It's so
I'm
common.
RICO all over the place.
Oh, okay. Do you want to tell everybody the good news?
I'm so ready to. Donald John Trump and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 co-conspirators, along with 30 unindicted co-conspirators, have been charged in violation of the Georgia RICO Act, the Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act.
Can we please go into a little bit what Rico is for everybody who has not seen Better Call Saul?
I would love to. RICO is the idea where when a large group of people work together to commit sophisticated, typically white collar crimes through organized, structured groups in order to evade prosecution. A RICO charge allows prosecutors to charge effectively all members of the conspiracy as if they were all the perpetrators of it, very broadly speaking. It's the
Yeah.
idea that it's used to take down uh, a large group of people doing many violations. Like this indictment that I'm going to be reading off here has 41 individual charges in it. And many of these people have as much as 10 to 15 uh, charges to their names. RICO allows them to all be indicted together as a criminal organization. So I think we'll get into the actual indictment in a minute here because it's long and it's juicy, but it's long. And let's hit some of the highlights here first because there's been some very amusing highlights that have been related to this.
Oh, please go on.
My favorite co conspirator, I believe number two, Rudolph William Louis Giuliani, is known for being one of the pioneers of the RICO charge in his work as an attorney in New York.
I love it. You love to see it.
It is amazing.
Giuliani hurt himself in confusion.
In addition, we've been getting little, pieces that have come out of because this was an indictment brought down by a grand jury. So it has some information that is public, some that is not public, but it's for the most part all in this indictment. We now know that uh, if the plan went according to plan on January 6th with the illegal electors that were trying to be represented, the plan for the then illegitimate Trump administration was to use the Insurrection Act to mobilize the military and quash any sort of rebellion that came as a result.
That's really fucking scary.
It's very scary and very ironic, but also very, very scary.
Like, goddamn. I mean, thank God the electors never got fucking past the door, which
Yeah.
kind of, in your opinion, because I have my opinion on this,
Mm.
do you think the fake electors was probably their best move they could have done, or is that like the stupidest? I'm of the opinion it's the stupidest, especially in today's day and age.
I I don't know. That's a good question. I don't think I would call it the stupidest thing that they could have done, right? It's like the kind of thing. It's the Airbud rule, you know. It's like it's so crazy it just might work kind of thing until everybody realizes that this is a fucking dog. No, we're not going to let it play basketball. Are you stupid? And the answer is yes, that they are stupid. And that's what we're seeing out of this is that pretty routinely through every single one of these indictments, we're getting these little snippets behind the scenes where you have people who are like assistant to Giuliani, or the people who are actually doing the grunt work, digging up case law and making these interpretations and trying to figure out, that are just pretty much openly saying in these messages to each other that, yeah, this isn't how the law works, this is not legal, and this isn't going to work. They know that that's the case, but the fact that they pushed through with it anyways, I feel like is the stupid part. And I do feel a little bit bad for the actual electors that were the false electors that were brought on, because of anybody involved with this, they seem like the fall guys, right? The people who
Yeah.
were least aware of how illegal what they're doing was. Like at the end of the day, they still illegally signed. They basically forged government documents,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's the crux of what they did illegally, and there's no question that they did that. But it does feel like they might have been the most likely to have been tricked into doing so, rather than voluntarily, knowingly breaking the law.
Like someone told them you're going to be an elector, and against their better judgment, they had no idea to tell if they were right or not to do that.
To a degree, yes. I'll say on the other hand for that, though, we do know at least. So, what's the way to put this? They didn't randomly pick these electors, right?
Yeah.
These are people who were picked because the, the racketeers, so we can call them that now, believed they would go along with the plan. We have one of the pieces of evidence is from a potential false elector who ended up not being selected and openly said in an email that was basically just like, I wish I could find the exact piece, but this was, I think, in the federal level one, was just like, this is a really interesting legal idea, and I'm curious to see how this goes. I will not be putting my name to it.
Oh
Because they know it's
yeah.
illegal. They know it's illegal.
I
And they're
remember
just
seeing
the
that.
language they use is like really slimy. And then they ended up not going forward with it because you're, not that much of an idiot at least.
You
You're
know,
dumb enough to put this in writing, but not dumb enough to put your name to it on a piece of paper.
yeah. Wasn't that like a group text too?
Oh, most of these are.
Yeah.
These are like all team email kind of shit.
Such idiots.
It is I don't know why I'm still surprised by this, right? And I guess this is like the crux of it, where, if you're smart enough to think about the ways that you like could be trying to get away with these kinds of crimes, you're probably smart enough to not do them in the first place, right? But I see this, we saw it with the Fox News cases, we saw it with all three prior indictments that Trump has had, and now with this fourth one as well, that these people just can't send, they just don't know how to send a private message. They're texting, they're emailing, they're calling each other, they're sending each other fucking Twitter DMs. All of this stuff that leaves a paper trail a mile wide and ready to be snatched up by the most thin of uh, subpoenas.
This is why
It's
boomers
wild.
shouldn't do crime.
They shouldn't. If you don't know how the Facebook works, you shouldn't be doing crime using your email account. Don't do it. It's not gonna work.
I love the idea that they're sending these emails and like they have like, you know how boomers tend to have like the really long signatures, like business
Oh yeah.
signatures. Yeah, I love the idea that they're spouting off all these fucking crimes they're about to do,
Yeah.
and then underneath is like Rudy Giuliani,
Yeah.
former New York mayor, and it just goes more and more detailed that you can't pin it as any other Rudy Giuliani.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's no question.
Oh, it's so fucking good.
I think this is a good time to get into some of the nitty gritty of this because I want to talk about some of the specifics related to the Rico case in particular. But before that, I want to talk about what all of the charges involved with this are because there's 40 fucking one of them, and it really paints a good picture. Just reading through the charges as to why this is actually a Rico case and not 19 individual trials that are going to happen. And there still might be individual trials related to that, but why it's a Rico case in the first place. This is expansive and multifaceted. No one of these people could have done it on their own, and it's the accumulation of their work that resulted in such a grievously illegal act happening.
Good word.
Thank you. So, I'm just going to run through all 41 here because they're all bangers, I'll be honest.
Oh boy.
Uh,
The top
Violation.
41. Oh, sorry.
Top 41 indictments in Georgia. Number one, violation of the Georgia RICO Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organizations Act.
Nice.
And I am not going to read all of them that way.
Please, for the love of God, we cannot get sued by BuzzFeed.
Solicitation of violation of oath by a public officer. So violating their public oaths. 2 counts of false statements and writings. So a lot of these are like violations of oaths. So we got 1, 2, 3 more violations of public oaths. More false statements in writing. Impersonating a public officer. That's a good one. Conspiracy to commit impersonating a public officer.
When they do that, that's specifically the electors, right?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. That's the one charge I was like, please tell me that is not as far as I'm thinking it is.
Yeah. forgery in the first degree and conspiracy to commit forgery in the first degree, which is them signing their names to the false electors' ballots in particular. More false statements in writing, more conspiracy to commit false statements in writing, criminal attempt to commit filing false documents. That's them actually filing those documents. More forgery in the first degree, more conspiracy to commit forgery in the first degree, more false statements in writing. Criminal attempt to commit influencing witnesses. That's a good one. Witness tampering.
Love it.
Criminal attempt to commit false statements in writing. Solicitation of violation of oath by a public officer. Filing of false documents. Solicitation of violation of public oath by a public officer. We had some of the good ones down at the bottom here. More influencing witnesses. 2 counts of conspiracy to commit election fraud. Conspiracy to commit computer theft, conspiracy to commit computer trespass, conspiracy to commit computer invasion of privacy. Those 3 are particularly interesting, and I want to talk about those more at the end here. Conspiracy to defraud the state of Georgia, false statements in writing, and at the end, good old-fashioned perjury.
Oh, just like Grandpa used to commit.
And this has resulted in a 98-page, 41-count filing by the grand jurors of the state of Georgia. Who, of course, because the far-right actors on behalf of Donald Trump are perfectly reasonable people, have already had their names, addresses, and phone numbers leaked to the public and are inevitably being harassed and, receiving all manner of horrible messages, to be sure.
Oh, I fucking love it.
So, going in further into the document here, they start off by going through the RICO count. And we're not going to go through all of these because it is literally 98 pages and we don't have time for that, though it would be very interesting. This is, a lot of law is boring, but when it gets to this level, it's like a page turner. So, we're going to hit the highlights here, though. They had 8 elements that they describe as the manner and methods of the enterprise. Those are the manner and methods used by the defendants and other members and associates to the enterprise to further the goal of the enterprise and to achieve its purpose, including, but not limited to, false statements and solicitation of state electors. So that is the, false electors element of it. False statements to and solicitation of high-ranking state officials, that being them trying to persuade senators and the vice president to go along with this scheme. Creation and distribution of false electoral college documents, being the actual forged official documents related to the electoral college. Harassment and intimidation of Fulton County election worker Ruby Freeman, which is an entire fucked up thing on itself. Horrible people involved with that, but yeah, it was part of it. Basically tried to pin her as, the one doing all of the election fraud, and none of it was true, and they knew it was not true.
That's hilarious.
Solicitation of high-ranking United States Department of Justice officials. This is relating to government officials in Fulton County, Georgia, including the governor, speaker of the House of Representatives, and the president pro tempore of the Senate. In one instance, Donald Trump stated to the acting United States Attorney General, just say that the election was corrupt and leave the rest to me and the Republican congressman, end quote. We have solicitation of the Vice President of the United States, obviously. Unlawful breach of election equipment in Georgia and elsewhere. A very interesting one that I will get into later. The short of it is, they corruptly conspired in Fulton County, Georgia, and elsewhere to unlawfully access secure voting equipment and voter data. In Georgia, members of the enterprise stole data including ballot images, voting equipment, software, and personal voter information. The stolen data was then distributed to other members of the enterprise, including members in other states. And finally, obstructive acts in furtherance of the conspiracy and the cover-up. Because it didn't fucking work.
Damn, and I would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for you damn kids and your damn dog too. Can we get like a Scooby-Doo episode of that? That would be kind of fucking hilarious.
So let me skim here real quick, because I think this computer part is a very interesting thing that happened, where this is like them trying to prove that fraud occurred by stealing these election computers.
Fraud did occur, man. They stole the election computers.
We know it did, because we did it.
Exactly.
Act 34. On or about the 6th of December 2020, Robert David Cheeley sent an email to John Charles Eastman, unindicted co-conspirator individual 8, whose identity is known to the grand jury, blah, 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 stated, I am working on setting up a call for you with the Speaker of the President Pro Tempore tomorrow. I am also making the leadership aware of the importance of Trump electors to meet on December 14th. Please provide citation to the requirements of the duties which you must comply. Is this the right thing? Oh, no, this is not the right thing. Sorry. Where the hell is it? Sorry. These are the individual acts that they have as evidence. I see now. How far does this go? Do you want to take a guess how many acts they have in furtherance of this? Oh my god.
Fuck. Is it more?
I'm well into the triple digits already.
No fucking way.
Yeah.
God, they really want to fucking fake win this election.
They have 161 individual acts that they believe demonstrate the furtherance of the criminal conspiracy to defraud the election process.
What was he wanting to do in his fucking second term? He didn't do shit during his first term.
One of my favorite parts of it is that they had a speech written 3 days before the election that included both Trump refusing to acknowledge that he lost the election and talking about false electors. Or not false electors, but illegal ballots being filed.
What a champ.
So before the election happened, before the election fraud that they are claiming could have even occurred, they were claiming there was election fraud.
Well, he knows he already didn't win the fucking popular vote last time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And all he's done is like burn through fucking followers because let's face it, the whole anti-vax, don't wear a mask kind of killed off a lot of your voter base.
Yeah, it wasn't great for him.
Yeah, you sick fuck. Why do you think you deserve to be president after that?
So we have count 34. The grand jury charges and accuses Sidney Powell, this is the lawyers mostly, with the offense of conspiracy to commit computer theft, where the said accused individually and his person concerned unlawfully conspired to use a computer with knowledge that such use was without authority and with the intention of taking and appropriating information, data, and software the property of Dominion Voting Systems Corporation. Sidney Powell entered into a contract with Sullivan Stickler in Fulton County, Georgia, delivered a payment to Sullivan Stickler, and caused employees of Sullivan Stickler to travel from Fulton County, Georgia to Coffee County, Georgia, for the purpose of using a computer with knowledge that such use was without authority and with the intention of taking and appropriating information, data, and software.
I'm a simple man. I hear Sidney Powell's name. I gotta make a Kraken joke.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck.
So Sidney Powell paid this company to acquire these computers that they then took the data from. Computers that they did not have legal access to be in possession of because they are voting equipment. These aren't just like desktops. These are vote tabulating computers specifically.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
For conspiracy to commit computer trespass, it's the same idea. It's just a conspiracy to do so. And we have conspiracy to commit computer invasion of privacy, which is the same thing. So the gist of it is that they acquired by paying this Sullivan Strickler company. They paid for access to Dominion's voting machines to then pull data off of them, including, voter information, to try and prove that this election fraud happened. And of course, resulted in nothing.
They fucked up so hard. It's kind of
I would also say to keep in mind that this is, of course, at the same time that Dominion is having their name regularly disparaged and that they won a gigantic fucking lawsuit over from Fox News. This is all happening during that time, and you have the Kraken lawsuit kind of stuff that's going on that none of them succeeded, right? So, like, if in some magical fairy tale land where the Kraken lawsuit was real, it would be trivial for them to file subpoenas to lawfully acquire these machines to then determine if they were being used legitimately. But because we live in the real world, the Kraken lawsuit was full of bullshit that they knew was bullshit, and they couldn't get a subpoena because they didn't have any actual evidence, so they just stole them instead.
All these people are champs, I feel like their whole process through all of this has been, we got a vague idea of what we want to do. Let's just hope we can pull it off because we have no plan B.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of shocked by this?
What's that?
there's not been like one foreign party in all this. This has all been domestic bullshit.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I do think that a lot of the times there's obviously foreign influence that's happening in our elections, right?
Yeah, totally.
But it's never going to be as direct as this kind of stuff is. You know,
Yeah.
that's too overt. And even if the people within the U.S. were, you know, like say they have like an actual Russian agent come over to the U.S. and start helping them out, and say the U.S. doesn't care and turns a blind eye, there's other foreign countries that have just as robust of security services as we do, and they would know that's happening. So that's where the sort of notoriousness of the Russian influence comes in, because they use it through far less direct means by, you know, propaganda campaigns on the internet rather than actually physically doing stuff.
Mm, good point. Good point. Good point.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Like perpetually spreading lies that there were interferences in the election.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. You don't have to be in the U.S. to do that.
No, you don't.
Fun fact that we learned today, maybe not quite today, but recently. See if I can find the exact number. Uh, Something like 40% of all accounts on Twitter are accounts that have basically no activity. They don't follow anyone or do anything. And up to 60% of accounts have never posted anything ever.
That sounds like a bot.
It does, doesn't it?
Wait a second. Those are illegal on Twitter now.
That's what I thought, but I guess not.
What the
I can't
fuck
find
is
the
going
exact.
on? Elon wouldn't lie to me.
He would certainly never perjure Twitter to the tune of having to pay a $350,000 fine. Never.
Never, ever, ever.
That definitely didn't happen in January of this year when Twitter was subpoenaed for Trump's DMs and they refused to do it.
We're really in the fucking shit right now, aren't we?
Mm-hmm. It's rough out there.
It really is. Again, I consider this like we're living in the season finale of like
Mm-hmm.
2016. Like all this is just plot lines from 2016.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Can't
We
wait.
also had some good old fashioned like further like witness intimidation kind of stuff with Troop Social, of course, because of why not? Wouldn't be complete without it.
Wait, so Truth Social's still around?
Oh yeah, Trump owns it. It's got to be.
I'm kind of curious now what the numbers of Truth Social looks like next to like Blue Sky or something like that.
That's actually a good point. I'm curious.
Yeah. I'm sure no one's going to present those numbers, but it'd be kind of cool to see them. Oh, by the way, for everybody curious, Carol hooked me up. I'm not on Blue
Yes.
Sky. Thank you, my guy.
You're welcome. It's an interesting place.
It is so weird because it's like, well, right now it's like those more niche communities. I've seen so much fucking furry shit on
Yeah,
like
that is definitely a problem right now.
I don't think it's well. I don't want to be
maybe
a dick.
problem's not the right word, but the
Trend.
yeah, it is overwhelming, and the tools that they have to try and like just hide it. Like, okay, you want to do that shit? Cool, whatever.
Yeah.
But like, it shouldn't be front and center on every single page. It's overwhelming.
It's just because it's so fucking small at the moment. Like,
Yeah.
the algorithm, like the thing with Blue Sky is the furries got to it first, which understandable. The furry community probably wants to get the fuck off Twitter, and I get it.
Yep.
I see two kinds of posts the most: LGBTQ plus stuff, which perfectly fine, and furry shit, which again
Yep.
perfectly fine.
I'll say personally though, the stuff that frustrates me the most is like just like not even furry shit, just like regular sex explicit content in general. Like
Yeah.
people posting just random fucking selfies of themselves. And it's just like, yeah, look at my fucking ab. It's like, dude, no, I don't want to. Go away. Or at least just self-tag your shit. Because that was actually something that they added recently that should help a lot. Is that people can now like self-tag more than just NSFW or not. There's varying levels of like this is uh, not safe for work, but is explicit or implied sexuality. And people just need to fucking use it. Just use it, so then I don't have to see it.
I
That's
followed a
fine.
lot of
That's all I
fucking art
want.
communities on there, and a
Mm,
lot of art porn has also been in my face
yeah,
lately.
because people don't know how to use the tags right.
Yeah, well, once more people get on there, it's going to solve itself. It's
It
just,
should.
yeah. Which, after Elon's latest blunder, ah,
Yeah,
do you block people on Twitter, Kyril?
absolutely.
I do too. What the fuck is the point of having the block button if there's no real reason to use it?
Yep.
Part of the reason, I would dare say, the block button is important for free speech in itself.
More so to that, it's a requirement to be listed on the App Store and the Play Store.
I wanted to build up
Is
to that, but you're right.
having those moderation tools. Yeah, sorry.
No, you're totally cool. Like, what the fuck is he doing?
Yeah, it's very dumb.
I think it's like part of his rebellion against Apple for taking a pay cut of his like Twitter Blue subscribers.
I don't know. I'm curious if I can have a list. Like, how many have I blocked? Because it's a lot.
I think I've really only
More than 100 for sure,
damn.
easily. And it's mostly just like, yeah, I either eh, there's like multiple types of blocking that I use it for, where I'll have either specific individuals who I personally don't like, and I just don't want to see them ever because it's just like I have seen enough of you, and I don't want to be reminded that you exist because you're an asshole or something like that.
Damn.
There's random explicit content that's just like, no, go away. And most of the rest of it is like advertisers hawking like obvious lies.
Advertisers can't lie. What the fuck are you talking about?
Oh my god! Wait a minute. All right, I gotta check this out.
What you looking at?
I inadvertently, it was a mistake, but I had Twitter pulled up there for a second to look at my block list, and apparently, with the release of Baldur's Gate 3,
Yes.
we now have. Oh, that's not quite the one that I want. Uh, Magic the Gathering, about was it a year ago, 2 years ago, made a Baldur's Gate Magic the Gathering set
Hmm.
that features many of the same characters. And apparently, people are now, I think I saw it described as thirst buying. Oh my god, they totally are. The magic card versions of them, where it's like many of them aren't quite as bad. Where's just the regular one? Is it that one? Yeah. But like there's a random rare from the set that's gone from $1 to $1.70 over the last 2 weeks. There's another one that went from about $3 and it's now running $8 a copy
Damn.
because people cannot keep it in their pants.
Is it horny art?
No, the art's not horny, but the people buying it are.
Okay, I was about to say that's going to happen in the Final Fantasy set. Wait
I'll
for
say
that.
one of the yeah, for sure. One of the most off-putting things for me wanting to try something like the Baldur's Gate 3 game has been seeing the fan, air quote, fan reactions to other people deciding to have opinions that differ from theirs.
Isn't that with every community though?
This has been weird and different because it's like the average person does not seem to care, but there's a weird number of people that care way too much. And it's just weird, and I don't understand it. Where it's like your companion choice defines who you are as a person to me, and if you disagree with my companion choices, you are now a lesser human being, and I will berate you for no reason because of it.
Wait, isn't that the thing that was what's the word I'm looking for? Isn't that the marriage system in the game, or am I thinking of something else?
Uh, Possibly, but I believe it's just for choosing your like the party members,
Mm,
and it can lead up to that, but that is like the end of it, right? And it's just weird. It's like just let people play the game they want to play it. If
no,
someone has an opinion that is different from yours, that's fine. People are allowed to disagree. You don't have to be a horrible person about it because you disagree with someone. It's
no,
not that deep.
no. I disagree with you. Fuck off, Kyril. What the fuck you think you're talking about? You know what it reminds me of very slightly?
What's that?
Back in the day, Fire Emblem Awakening's pairing system,
Hmm.
and people
Mm-hmm.
how people would go batshit crazy about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, history tends to repeat itself. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I have a strange feeling that it just a hunch that it's probably the same people that were in oh, it's actually 1,000-year-old dragon camp.
Oh my god, you are absolutely right.
I don't know why, but it just kind of the same energy to it.
Let's listen for it. Do we have nays from those saying otherwise?
Yeah.
Dost thou hear crickets, Mister Kyril?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Now, do we have eyes that say otherwise?
I believe we do.
The eyes have it.
Yeah. It's just weird. Just let people like things or let people don't like things. Not everyone has to have the same opinion of you.
Everybody
As
has
long
to
as
say
they're
the
not
same
causing
opinion.
you harm, just deal with it. Pretend to be an adult for once in your life, please.
You know what? You're right, Kyril. If I don't like the fact that the temperatures of this planet's only gone out by like 1.4 degrees, I
Yeah.
I should want it a little bit hotter. I'm not
Yeah.
going to hurt anybody by spreading ecological problems like that.
It's great. It's like, I'm buying all the old refrigerators. Yay. So that I can release their gases into the atmosphere.
Hell yeah. I'm going to recycle batteries and feed them to the ocean. The ocean deserves a snack.
How else do you recharge the electric eels?
You don't.
Speaking of not, Russia is not going to be on the moon today.
They'll get there.
They'll get there. They tried their best. It just, they just didn't succeed. I do find this really amusing. I wonder because this isn't even the same headline. This is something I always find fascinating on Reddit is with how news articles obviously have a tendency to change their own titles, but lots of times the people uploading the article to Reddit will make some slight editorial tweaks.
Oh, like what?
So here we have the CNN article, Russia's first lunar mission in decades crashes into the moon. And in the Reddit post for it, the top comment is criticizing the Reddit title because the Reddit title says Russia's first moon mission in decades fails after spacecraft collides with surface. And the top comment is collide with surface? You mean it crashed? Because yes, they do mean it crashed, but they didn't say it for whatever reason, and that's kind of weird.
That's the more PC way
It's
of putting it.
it's such like super passive voice.
Yeah. Are you, are you like me? Have you been like getting a little more pissy with people making passive voices lately?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've noticed I have a bad habit of speaking very passive at work, and
Yeah.
I have a job where I should not be speaking passive on shit.
there's a time and a place for it, right?
Yeah.
And when Russia's lunar lander that was fucking unmanned fucks up, that's not the time or the place. Just say what happened.
No one died.
No one died.
Yeah.
You know, if somebody died, sure, I get that you might want to be a bit more delicate in your language, but like, it's not that big of a deal.
No, fuck off. Rockets don't have feelings, you stupid fuck.
I do like this. This is from Roscosmos talking about the aftermath of it. They said that Luna 25 switched to an off-design orbit.
I like that one.
That's good. That's at least funny because you know how stupid and dumb it is.
It is now in the no longer flying section of rockets in
Yes, it
history.
is.
Yeah. It's perfecting its Hindenburg cosplay.
Yeah. You know, it's a big fan.
Yeah, dude. I think all aerial crafts kind of take a little bit of inspiration from the Hindenburg. And I don't think I'm wrong to say that.
Apparently, part of the goal of these lunar missions for Russia was to try and recover past lunar missions,
Okay. Question
and
mark.
that didn't work. Luna 25, the Russian probe thing, had 8 scientific instruments, including specialized devices called, called spectrometers. That's kind of cute. Yeah, it had lasers that it used to detect things.
Yeah.
One was intended to. God, this is like fucking CNN. Give me something. Give me something here. God damn it. This is so boring. Like, this is what I don't get. Like, yes, science can be confusing, and you want people to understand what is going on, so you can say shit like, study the lunar soil. But you can be more specific than that. Say a word or two that people don't know to make them want to learn more.
Are you trying to bait us into learning about science?
Yes, actually.
Who the fuck are you? We are Americans. The only science we care about is pragmatism.
This is actually kind of interesting. Apparently, we have a little bit of a space race going on now between India and Russia. Not quite as overt as, you know, like Cold War era, but uh they've mentioned it here, and it's like, yeah, they did. India launched their Chandrayaan 3 mission back in July, and it's scheduled to attempt its lunar landing as soon as August 23rd, this Wednesday.
You know what would be the funniest fucking thing in the world? I want India to win this space race and then to have them post a YouTube video on how to land on the moon for Russia.
That would be funny.
Yes.
Thomas Zurbuchen, NASA's former head of science, said in a social media post that no one in the industry wishes bad onto other explorers. We are reminded that landing on any celestial object is anything but easy and straightforward. Just because others managed to do it just because others managed to do it decades ago does not guarantee success today. Which is very true.
Yeah. It's actually a really fucking scary thought when you put it into like context.
Yeah, it's fucking hard.
Yeah. You're going at this thing like fuck. What do you think would be a low ball number of the speed you're approaching a celestial body at in space?
Very fast.
Yeah, we'll just
I,
go.
I don't even know. Like,
Okay, here's one right for you, right? Because some people can't fucking park at 5 miles per hour.
yeah.
Imagine trying to park at like 60 miles per hour. Now times
Yeah.
that by like 15.
So, for an idea,
Yeah,
uh, geosynchronous orbit, so that's just what satellites routinely do, is rated at 17,000 miles per hour.
that's more than times 15 of 60. But go
Yeah.
on.
And that's just maintaining orbit in the atmosphere.
That's to keep up with the damn thing.
So obviously they're not going to be going that fast when they make contact with the moon, but like, I mean, it's all relative, right? You
Yeah.
know, that's the tricky thing with anything involving space is that relative to the moon, they're going to be going pretty slow because they don't want to just smash into it. Well, I mean, they didn't want to. That is what happened. But they don't want to just smash into it because then they get like this kind of shit that happens. But relative to the Earth, the moon goes around the Earth once a day, so they have to match that in speed relative to the Earth to be able to keep up with the moon and then land on it. It's very fast. I need to look up. I should probably just check like new updates for it because I believe Hurricane Hillary or Hillary Hurricane uh, has made landfall now as of 8 a.m. Yeah. Come on, Google.
What's the projected path of Hurricane Hillary?
So it is projected to land in Mexico, south of California, move its way up through as a tropical storm into San Diego and Los Angeles, and then dissipate as it gets into Death Valley.
Damn, it sucks to be California.
Yep. And, in absolute scales, it is officially just a tropical storm, right?
Yeah.
So it's not as bad as hurricanes that the East Coast experiences. Um, but it is still going to be producing. God, that is loud. Fuck off, CNN. It's going to be making a ton of rain in an area that is especially dry and will be prone to massive amounts of flooding and landslides.
And weathering.
I was also hearing about potential issues that are going to be happening with the homeless populations
Oh,
because
fuck.
where do you think they stay? They stay in these low-lying areas where it's generally out of people's sight, like in culverts and shit.
Oh.
And it's going to be really fucking bad if they can't get these people to safety, and they're almost definitely not going to be able to get all of them.
I'm depressed now. What the
Yeah,
fuck?
it's not good.
That's really not good.
Hillary expected to remain tropical storm before it hits Southern California. Wind speeds of 40 to 70 miles per hour. I'm curious. There's probably got to be a history of let's do California hurricanes because I can't think of one like recently. You know,
What?
of hurricanes in California
To me, I think
off
this
the
is the first.
Pacific.
Yeah. I think this is easily the first one in our lifetime.
I guess technically it wouldn't be because it's landing as a tropical storm.
I'd count it.
I kind of would too. So I'm looking at the 2020s. Most of these are talking about remnant moisture from other hurricanes. I'm curious, does this mean yeah, it didn't make landfall? Also, didn't even come close to making landfall. Hurricane K didn't make it into California, not American California at least. Oh, that's actually good. Eugene didn't. Yeah, so I in the 2020s at least, Hurricane Hillary is the first tropical storm to make actual full-on landfall in California in the last 3 years at least. I'm skimming the rest to see if I can find anything.
Mm-hmm.
And the main thing is that most of these storms start from our coast and then work their way out into the ocean, right? So they go the opposite direction and they tend not to make landfall. Okay, so this is one. It's a legit Hurricane Odile in 2014 made landfall in Mexico, at least. That's the closest I've found so far.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, that seems to be the thing is that they start in the south, like towards Panama. They work their way up the coast and they tend not to make landfall, or they spin out and get bigger further out in the Pacific. But they tend not to turn up into the actual uh, area. Yeah. So here's an idea. List of all known tropical cyclone related deaths in California. Okay.
Oh no.
There are the deadliest were in the 1930s with 45 and 15 deaths respectively. There was Kathleen in 1976 that had 11, Nora in 97 with 3 or 4, Flossie in 2001, the most recent that had 2, and Guillermo in 1997 as well that had 1.
Yeah, those aren't really that common, are they?
Nope, not so much. They average about 1.5 per year, and most rarely make landfall.
Global warming's still bad, right?
Oh, yes.
Oh, thank
Very.
God.
Yeah, it's not good. Would you like to talk about movies?
You know, I'm feeling
Or
thoroughly depressed.
I guess movie, because, well, I don't know if this is going to fix that. I've got one.
Okay.
I should actually double check real quick to see if there's any we missed. I don't think so. Well, there's a big release this week. The latest in the DC extended cinematic universe of wonders.
Hell yeah. What is it?
Blue Beetle.
That's so cool. I'm not gonna lie. I'm happy there's a Blue Beetle movie nowadays.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I
mean,
guess.
it's
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 whatever.
it's DC Spider-Man.
I guess so.
Yeah.
It's apparently doing fine. It's
Has
finally knocked the Barbie movie off of the top earner on the weekend slot since its release.
Oh, you mean that movie that's been out for a month?
Yeah, the Barbie movie only made 21 million more dollars this week, while the Blue Beetle made 25.
Damn, dude. Is this the first one that's had James Gunn at the helm of DC yet, or are we still waiting for his projects in there?
I don't know. This one says it's directed by Angel Manuel Soto, produced by John Rickard, Zev Foreman, written by Gareth Dunnett Alkar. I'd have to imagine that it wouldn't be yet. This would be too soon, but I'm not sure, to be honest.
Hmm.
Wait, what's going on here? Rotten Tomatoes has a what to watch this week article, and it's just showing The Dark Knight. Why are they talking about The Dark Knight?
Good question. I'm not sure.
No idea.
It's a DC movie.
Maybe it's because the Barbie movie finally outpaced it for the highest grossing Warner Brothers film of all time.
That's probably it, actually.
They don't mention it, but that is something that did happen this week. Or I guess not necessarily this week, but that did happen. So yeah, Blue Beetle, 76%. It sounds fine. I like that it's a DC movie with a bit of color in it. That's a welcome change.
Oh yeah. I heard like there was a story about a writer who wanted to do like a movie, and because they were Latino, they were pitching like the DC character they wanted to originally do. I don't remember who it was. But like the executive said, no, we want you to do this movie because it has a Latino star in it, and then
Mm-hmm.
they pitched him the script to Blue Beetle.
Mm.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I like Blue Beetle, like in the comics and whatnot. So
Yeah,
I may watch this once it gets on Max. I don't know if I'm gonna go to the theaters for this.
I think that's fair. I'm curious to check now to see just like how much is this a CGI, right? I'm sure it's mostly.
Oh yeah, totally.
Okay, no, they have a real costume for it. That's legit. That's good. It's kind of weird. They must have done, I guess that makes sense, a lot of digital lighting. There's a lot of these stills they have that look very fake, where they're trying to do the like Spider-Man fake eyes thing,
Oh,
and I don't think it's working. Where you can do like side by sides of the suit that they had on location and the digital shots, and it's like, yeah, you've painted those eyes on, which is fine, but I don't know. I miss practical effects.
I do too. I don't think we're really going to ever go back to that for a blockbuster.
Mm-hmm. Probably not.
Oh, did you hear about the AI copyright case?
Yes.
We are living in the best timeline right now. Um,
It's
fucking,
not a complete slam dunk,
it's
but it is
not.
nice to have it reaffirmed that in order to hold a copyright on something, it requires human input.
Yes,
And ideally, as long as our protections for workers' unions remains as, as long as they don't continue to weaken, that should offer a pretty clear path for workers of film to preserve their rights by the unions. If the companies are required to have people, artists work on it, the artists' unions remain intact, then the companies are going to be forced at a certain level to accept those unions' terms, or they will not have workers.
yes. And quite frankly, I'm really happy that happened because I think it's if the if just putting in prompts to get copyright over some fucking materialistic shit
Mm-hmm.
um was an option, I don't think we would ever see an end to this strike.
Nope.
Nope. And I desperately miss John Oliver. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
And I know I'm never getting him back until this strike's over, but I also want everybody to get paid well. So, what do we do, Kyril?
Just gotta hold out. Won't be forever.
Says you.
The strikers haven't called for a general boycott yet. So, they seem to know what they're doing for the most part, and just gotta respect that, and just keep doing what we can within reason that they say that helps.
Damn. Anything else entertainment ways happened?
Um, I'm trying to skim. I know there's more. I'm just not. It's not coming to mind right away.
I know we were gone for like 2 weeks, and I'm
Yeah,
really
there
shocked
wasn't.
all we got was Blue Beetle.
Right. We're at the tail end of movie season for sure. We're gonna have a bit of a lull until we get into the holidays. I think there's not so much, but this would be a greatest time as any to go through a bit of a social media roundup. Just the general state of things.
Oh no. Well, where do you want to start with that?
I'm going to start by pulling up some Wikipedia pages real quick because I'm curious to see if they have some easily comparable numbers on these. Yeah. Yeah. It's funny. If you Google Twitter, it still comes up with the Twitter bird logo.
That's
I love
actually
it.
sad. You know what I really want Blue Sky to do?
What's that?
I want them to take the picture of the Twitter bird logo, so it's not being
Mm-hmm.
used anymore, and just like Photoshop it very slightly to turn that blue background into turn the bird into a white cloud in a blue background.
It'd be funny.
It'd be hilarious.
It's been really, the whole Twitter X thing has been really disappointing. I've seen some like actual like graphics design is my profession kinds of people talk about how sad they are to see the Twitter bird logo get axed because it's just really good design.
It really is. It's not like the Pepsi logo, but there's still detail. Have you heard the Pepsi design document?
No, what's that?
Oh my god, okay. This is fucking unhinged. It's a leaked Pepsi redesign manual from like 2008, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And it just goes to show how fucking insane some of these people are running that company. Let me see if I can get it pulled up real quick. Oh shit, they're blocking me. Go on with the roundup. I need to find this. This is fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it because I had an article. I remember when we talked about this back in like June. Let me see if I can just get my search history here. Where there was a decent selection of, no, it just doesn't go back that far,
Okay, here we go.
of more niche alternatives.
I'm going to send you a link to it right now.
Okay.
Okay. First one's going to be a link I was about to send you earlier, but I forgot.
Mm-hmm.
Unrelated, but Square Enix's store will still sell you a copy of Final Fantasy X on the PS2. What the fuck is up with that?
Really?
Yes,
Why? They must have so many copies.
they have to. That's beside the point. We're going to Pepsi now. Just
Okay.
wanted to send out that little PSA to you, and then I
Yeah.
forgot.
Breathtaking. Just, I love this cover page.
Okay, we are on page 3 of 27. You ready for this shit?
Page 3. Let's see this. Oh my god.
Breathtaking. Trajectory of innovation. How do we move from convention to innovation? And as you can see, Kyril, there's a straight fucking line from convention to innovation.
I'm sorry, we need to pause here
Yo,
because it needs to be pointed out that these pages are not standard size.
no, they are not.
These are 14 by 8 pages.
Yes.
And we know that that only means they were made by a monster.
Fun story. There is actually a little bit of a story about who made this. Um,
Continue.
yes. So this is about fucking Pepsi, by the way. Everybody remember Pepsi?
Yes, yes, this is Pepsi.
So by investing in our history and brand ethos, we can create a new trajectory forward. And we get that little line of convention to innovation with the Pepsi logo in the middle of it, with a DNA arrow that's not even straight. Do you see how unstraight that arrow is?
Yeah.
You can see like a point where they stop the arrow partway through and then put another arrow on top of it. I'm pretty sure whoever made this was on like the sickest amount of cocaine, by the way. The investment in our DNA leads to breakthrough innovation and allows us to move through a traditional linear system into the future. I can't even describe it, but basically just imagine another line comes out of the Pepsi logo to the future.
I would also like to point out that they talk about move out of the traditional linear system as they're drawing this with literal lines.
Yes, isn't that ironic? It's like Ray Yane on your wedding day.
Yeah.
Continued investment provides us with a clear resource for reinvention. And I have no fucking idea what this graph is supposed to be telling us at this point.
So I believe,
yes.
if I put on my marketing executive hat, I think what they're saying is that they can look at the current Pepsi trajectory and then glean into the future what's going to happen and then work backwards from that to reinvent their brand.
Stupid.
Also important to point out that the smaller second Pepsi logo is the new shitty one that they have.
Yes. This is from like way back in time.
Yeah.
So we move to part B of this document: the origins of creative endeavors, universal design principles, and PepsiCo's brand heritage.
Oh my god.
What?
I got to page 6.
Oh, you
And
got
it
to
made me
page
throw
6.
up.
No fucking spoilers, Mr. Kyle.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'll back up.
No, there's nothing that great on page
I
5.
I do love the diagram that is 1910, it's a glass bottle. 1970, it's a metal can. 2009, question mark? Like they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah.
I think that is the most remarkable thing about this is that this is a document that basically says in August 2 like 8801. So if we're assuming like when exactly was this? They had the date at the top. 2008 8-4. Okay. So that is a stupid year that's a convention that nobody uses, right?
Mhm.
You either do month day year or day month year. Regardless, this is at least 4 months into 2008. They are implying that they don't know what the Pepsi brand is going to look like in the next year.
Depends on
That
who
is how
becomes president.
short-sighted these companies are. Okay.
Breathtaking is a strategy based on the evolution of 50,000 years of shared ideas and design philosophy, creating an authentic constitution of design. This chart documents the origin and evolution of intellectual property, and it literally looks like your uncle's QAnon post on Facebook.
It is a mess.
Yes, we start at 3000 BC and work our way up in increments, going through, the Mona Lisa in the Golden Ratio, to feng shui in Eastern beliefs, the art of building, the Vitruvian Renaissance with the Vitruvian Man in the middle, all the way to Mobius strips, modular design, and then 2009, Pepsi introduces breathtaking.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm sure this is like some sort of predefined convention that dictates how this graph is meant to be made, but it makes absolutely no it is incomprehensible. If this is on, I have to have this inflated to 150%
Yeah,
to be able to even make out where these lines connect with these points. If this was on a sheet of paper, you would have no hope.
I don't understand any of this bullshit.
So
And
they're
I have a
saying,
college degree, and I would like to think I'm smarter than the average chump. Average
so
chump.
how does this work? They start in 3000 BC with Vastu Sastra,
Yep.
and they have one, two, three, four arcs coming off of it connecting to future points. The first one goes to Musica Mundana, so that's a like what is the link here, right?
The way I am interpreting this, right? This is all our
Yeah.
timeline, right?
Yes, it is. Like you can see they have it spaced out by year,
Yeah. So
quite
I think
literally.
they're trying to interpret this as Vatsu Satra starts his timeline, and then we have point A, and then
Mm-hmm.
like all those little points coming off of it are the inspirations that it bleeds to in the future, and that all these things are supposed to be funneling down to Pepsi.
For sure. I'm just one. It's obvious bullshit, but I'm just trying to figure out,
Went
the.
through a
I want
college.
to understand the bullshit.
Yeah, this is I took a philosophy class in
Yeah.
college
I
101.
also love how they have a Mobius strip like dot Mobius strip dot JPEG,
Yeah.
like ripped straight out of an 80s textbook.
So, iconic
All right.
geometry. We're on page 7 now. Deprived from Pepsi's rich package legacy and inspired by the earliest forms of proportions, breathtaking revitalizes the essence of PepsiCo and creating an iconic shape for the brand. And I think they're trying to make a statement on why they should combine all their bottles into this new design. Because it's just,
Yeah, that's what they did.
yeah, it's literally all these outlines of all the previous bottles on top of each other.
Yeah,
I hate it.
it's quite bad.
Yes. And then they tried doing a tracing the DNA of Pepsi. Like, not just the original logo, but like I don't know. You tell me what you're looking at, because I went into this knowing this document's shit insane and knew I couldn't comprehend it all. You're
Yeah.
still fresh. Tell me what you're seeing, Cairo.
What I am seeing here is they're taking the various Pepsi logos that they have used in the past,
Yeah,
and they are literally tracing them with circles.
they're tracing them with circles. And they're like circles that line up with certain lines, but some of them don't line up with certain lines.
I would also be really skeptical as to how like true this is.
Apparently, it's true because Pepsi is copyrighting this a lot of times, like copyright struck down.
Like who decided that we're gonna include the circles on the little flourishy bottomy piece of the Pepsi P, but not in the second P?
Yeah, someone was on cocaine. And you know what kind of pisses me off about this?
What's
This is
that?
in-house Pepsi, right?
Yeah.
So please tell me why the fucking logo on page 13 is not in proper aspect ratio format. It's compressed.
Page 13.
Do you see that? The 1960s one.
Wait, what the fuck are they even doing?
I don't know.
The 1962, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what the hell is wrong with them?
I don't know.
You know what this is, right?
What?
They had their new logo that they wanted to pitch,
Mm-hmm.
and they pulled it out of their ass, and then they realized at the last minute that they had to try and justify it some way and make like an hour presentation on it. So they made this. So they dug up all of the .pngs of Pepsi logos off of Google. They scraped them real quick and cleaned them up in probably Photoshop. They drew all these fucking circles. They did the 5-second overlay thing, and that's literally it.
Yeah.
And this is where we are today. Oh, I'm sorry. They put a 14-degree indicator because the 14 degrees is very important. 15 degrees, fuck right off.
Mm-hmm. Why is there 14 degrees? I really don't get this document. And as you see, as we get lower into this, like,
Yeah.
it gets more and more fucking insane.
Yep.
Yeah. They're trying to compare the golden ratio of the Mona Lisa to Pepsi.
The golden Pepsi ratio.
The golden Pepsi ratio. That's a thing.
Oh my god.
That's
oh
a
my god. They
thing.
actually say the Pepsi ratio is aesthetic geometry.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yes.
They call it the fucking Pepsi ratio.
The Pepsi ratio. By the way, for all you mathematicians, draw a circle with diameter d equals a, find its center, and draw
Yeah.
two circle sizes with diameter d equals 0.5 a.
Yeah, you make two smaller circles.
Shut up. That's too easy of a way of saying it. Now rotate the center line 45 degrees, copy one of the smaller circles, place its center in the intersection of the larger circle, and then put it on a rotated center line.
Yep.
Yep. Now draw a circle that lies with the larger one, and its diameter is such that it touches the three circles in exactly and only in one point.
Yep.
What the fuck does that even mean?
They filled the smaller circle in with the gap.
Shut the fuck up. Rotate the circle by 56 degrees.
Why? Which one did they rotate? Oh no, rotate the center line. Okay.
Oh, you're right. The center line.
And that's also bullshit because they just inscribed it so it's touching the same edge of the other smaller one they already made.
Yes.
The 56 literally the 56 degrees is completely meaningless. They just needed a circle that touches the outside edge of the 45-degree one and the far right edge of one of the first smaller ones they made.
Mm-hmm.
The 56 degrees does not matter.
It is not.
They've also now given the diameter of the fourth circle they made as the length of B because reasons.
Why the fuck did they introduce a B? This is already convoluted enough.
Because the Pepsi brand is created by intersecting circles with a set proportion to each other. The coordinates are marked X.
He just read the next one, motherfucker.
Of course I did.
The Pepsi ratio is created by two simple circles. Motherfucker, you are lying. They're set in a ratio to each other. The golden ratio. 8.
They're not.
The Pepsi ratio is aesthetic geometry.
So wait, they just completely jumped there.
They did.
What the hell are they doing?
You tell me.
I don't know. I'm trying to okay, like they have this step by step thing. It's like, okay, yeah, technically you're doing geometry. And then it's just like step 5, geometry. Step 6, geometry. Step 7, the golden ratio. Step 8, Pepsi, bitch. It just comes out of nowhere.
It's supposed to be like the aha moment.
But it's not.
It's not. Now, we can go further into this document, but as you can see, it starts getting into physics, the Earth's
Does it
geodynamo.
actually?
Yes. It starts talking about magnetic fields and how the Pepsi logo replicates the magnetic fields of the Earth. Magnetic dynamics.
Dynamic forces. The Earth's geodynamo, a naturally occurring electric generator in fluid motion, generates and sustains the Earth's magnetic field.
Mm-hmm.
Pepsi energy fields. Oh my god. I want to meet the person who made this. No, I don't want to meet them. That would be awful. I want to see them present this
I wish
because
I
that
was
would
in
be
the meeting.
amazing.
You know they had to have cans of
the,
Pepsi filled with cocaine.
the Pepsi globe dynamics, emotive forces shape the gestalt. The gestalt of the brand identity.
Yeah.
Never mind that, like in the immediate next figure, they just like change it to be something completely different for some reason.
So,
One identity, multiple emotions.
yes,
All the emotions are just vaguely smiling person.
they have a whole bracket in this, a whole page dedicated to taking the Pepsi logo at multiple point of views and
I
how it can
love
be
it.
signifying different emotions, even though they're all just smiles.
It seems completely unrelated to each other too.
Yeah,
One is literally just taking a circle and rotating a flat circle around and looking at it, and that's completely unrelated to everything else. Like, what is happening?
Pepsi is happening.
Pepsi is happening. Oh my god! And they just double down. The face of a new generation.
So, which Pepsi
Yes,
face is getting the better head?
there is literally no question. Number 8.
Number 8. Oh, you're right. You're right. You're right. I fucking hate every single one of these.
They're all awful.
Now let's talk about the creation of identity as a multi-dimensional brand.
Uh-huh.
As you see in figure A, we have motion transform into 2D. I'm sorry, from 2D into 3D.
What?
The problem is that this is such a visual document, and the visuals don't even make sense.
Yeah.
That the idea of like trying to
No.
describe what we're looking at is not cohesive with the idea of speech.
It's really not.
No, I sound like I'm having a seizure this whole time, but I assure you, I'm reading this document almost word from word.
The brand identity is dimensionalized through motion. I also love that in doing so, they have set up this diagram that says the soda can that has the least amount of Pepsi logo presented on it is the greatest, which
Yes,
I agree with.
I agree too. Breathtaking. The creation of identity, color theory.
Oh my god.
So here they have the different color palettes for what Pepsi stands for. So if you take cool
They
colors,
definitely didn't just steal everything from Coke.
shut the fuck up. So if you take these cool colors, you get a regular Pepsi can. Now if you take even the cool fresher colors, you get Pepsi Max. By taking the energetic balance colors of yellow and orangish,
I
You get.
gotta stop looking ahead.
Are you gonna stop? You've been looking at.
I gotta
Oh,
stop.
you saw the. You
I
saw
saw the
it.
next one.
You saw the next one. Anyway, you get caffeine-free Pepsi. And then you take all the cool, rich, fresh colors, you get Diet Pepsi. And then you get the cool, light, fresh colors, you get caffeine-free Diet Pepsi.
Like this is just gibberish, you know?
Yeah, no, dude. They lost, like, they ran out of words for, like,
They
the colors
did.
they want to use. So they kind of just repeat themselves. And you know what's the most fucked up part about this?
What's that?
A real person made this. This isn't a fucking AI.
Oh, I know.
So let's get to the big one, the
Oh my
climax.
god. This is amazing.
Let's talk about gravitational pull and the Pepsi proposition. As it
Pepsi. Yeah, go ahead. I'm getting ahead still.
as it
Please.
relates to attraction theory. Establishment of a gravitational pull to shift from a transactional experience to an invitational experience.
Hmm.
Much like how typical light has a path, as we see with this diagram of a star reaching Earth, so too does the typical shopping aisle have the end of the aisle to the consumer. Light is pulled by gravitational forces, and so we will do that with just Pepsi. What kind of fucking aisle works like a gravitational pull on sun and like
I
on
mean,
large celestial bodies?
it's also like just dumb.
It's dumb. Their basic idea is that the more Pepsi they have, the more of a gravitational pull they'll have, which
I would also point out that they have this really interesting dynamic showing here where I think they're trying to talk about like, oh, what would happen if you move this star so that it's more impacted by the gravitational pull of a nearby sun. Um, but what they're actually showing is that a different star has different forces acted upon it, just like how you would have a different experience if you bought something, anything other than Pepsi.
so anyway, in conclusion,
Oh,
here's a
no, no, you
diagram
can't
of
get to conclusion yet.
I'm not done. I'm talking about for this page, not like
Oh,
the
okay, yeah,
document.
yeah, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Here's some fucking diagrams of a person approaching a giant three-dimensional Pepsi logo at 60 degrees, 30 degrees, and 10 degrees. I have no idea what it means.
I don't either.
Now let's talk about the Pepsi universe.
Gravitational. The phrase gravitational pull of Pepsi is fucking genius.
Isn't it?
It is truly the work of a savant. All right, let's get to the Pepsi universe.
So, just as the universe expands, so does Pepsi. Okay, actually, I don't understand what the fuck they're trying to compare here. So they have universal expansion right here.
So they're talking that part of it I get.
Yeah.
Right? It's the idea that the universe expands at an ever increasing rate.
Yep.
Sure. Um then they talk about the Pepsi orbits, which I don't understand either.
You know what this reminds me of?
What's that?
Have you ever seen Time Cube?
No.
We do not have the time or the patience for it today.
It's
So we will
a
have
good sign.
we will have to do Time Cube some other day. But let me just post this in here. It's a good thing that it's got its own Wikipedia. It starts with pseudoscientific personal webpage. Okay, so we will get to Time Cube next week, or at least try to remember it. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh
um,
my god, they're using all the different little shitty Pepsi pictures. Where's the one that's like, yeah, it's right. Of course it is. It's at the top.
what
Of course, the guy that's going like, ah, is at the top. It
yeah
has to be.
peak
Where else do you put
orgasm.
it?
Yeah. So yeah, so too as Pepsi, the universe expands, so will Pepsi Planet become Pepsi Galaxy to Pepsi Universe. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Can we Can we do
You know
that?
what this? You know what?
What?
If I was a teacher
Yo,
and I was teaching any sort of like a public speaking class,
yo.
I would find as many of these as I could, and I would have students have to present them.
Yeah.
Here's your document. Present.
Extra credit, full, yeah.
Oh yeah, like an extra credit thing.
Yeah. Because
That would be good.
nobody can do that.
Even better, you get like the other faculty to come in and be the judges of it, and whoever gets highest rated by the other faculty ends up winning.
There
So
we
they don't
go.
see each other's.
I'll give that to Dane. We'll see.
That's
So,
that's so stupid.
isn't this the dumbest thing ever?
It really is.
Okay, so let's talk about the company that made this, the Arnell Group,
Yeah.
headed up by Peter Arnell.
Okay.
Peter Arnell, as far as I heard, is the guy who did this all by himself. So his Wikipedia is pretty normal, pretty normal, pretty normal.
It's
Uh,
sparse.
yeah. Now, if you let's see here. I fuck. I can't find it. He has like a weird list of controversies all over the place. I don't quite get
Really?
it. Yeah. He had like a lawsuit filed against him. Here we are. So there is a CBS News um article about why he was worth firing for so long. There we go.
Yeah, take me to this bullshit. Peter Arnell's lawsuit against Omnicom, in which he claims the holding company kept his personal property after firing him from Arnell Group, the ad agency he founded, raises an interesting question for CEOs with idiosyncratically decorated offices. Is that stuff yours or the company's? So he sued them because they didn't let him take all the art from his office.
Yes.
Oh my god, this is just mean. Is this an op-ed? It's not. This is just like, I guess it kind of is. What the fuck? I'm naming this person. This is an article by Jim Edwards. Jim Edwards says, I've been inside Arnell's office. Back in the 90s, he made visitors wait for him in a plush downtown Manhattan space filled with Star Wars memorabilia, movie souvenirs, toy soldiers, model spaceships, and vintage eyeglasses. I was given a good long time to survey just how much cool stuff Arnell had accumulated in his career before he entered and ushered me into a different room where an interview would actually take place. As Arnell weighed about 300 pounds at the time, it was rather like waiting in Jabba the Hutt's Tatooine lair. The fuck, Jim?
Oh, what the hell? I didn't hear that part.
This is just like every slight dig as it is.
Yeah.
Fun fact. Let me see if the whole thing is on here. No, it's not. It's just a snippet. You can buy his book Shift for $11.
No, thank you.
You sure?
I've read enough for today.
Oh my god. All right, I'm going to read this. Little changes can make a big difference. When some of the world's biggest corporations need to revive their brands, innovate products, and rethink their images, they call Peter Arnell. Now, in his fourth decade of branding and marketing for such companies as Samsung, Reeboks, DKNY, GNC, and Pepsi, Arnell explains how you can use some of the same strategies that famous brands do in order to improve your own image, life, and career. Arnell knows this firsthand because he applied many of these same strategies to transform his own life by losing 256 pounds. How did he do it? Arnell created an idea he calls shift.
Is that it?
So, there's more, but I don't care.
I kind of stopped caring after this.
Oh wait, no, I do care. This is dumb.
Oh no.
Innovative insights such as go helium are used by Arnold to explain how he reached his ultimate goal of 150 pounds. You can apply his technique to reach your own goals. You'll see, through Arnaud's description of how he went tiger, how to exercise your own discipline and commitment without apology, even if that means bucking the norm. And by learning to reach out to your brand audience, you'll come to understand the importance of your network of friends, acquaintances, colleagues, and family. I love that family is the last one of those.
Of course.
In keeping you motivated and providing the feedback you need for success. Weaving together personal stories of his own transformation with stories about how he how he created transformative change for brands such as Reebok and Pepsi, Arnell shares his unique vision on how each of us can rebrand and transform ourselves, both personally and professionally, to achieve the success we desire. So now we have to see what the Reebok rebrand was.
Do we have the will to do that though?
It'll be quick.
Okay.
Just a quick Google image search. Oh, did they change it again? They changed it in 2019. Wow, that sucks.
What is it? What is it? What is it?
It's literally just the words Reebok in blue. Or it's the one before that. I guess it depends. It depends which one it is. All of them kind of suck. Like the only good one is the second one, and all the rest are exceptionally derivative. Here, I'll send you this little template here.
I can't wait for the 56-page document that explains like why he had to change it to blue.
Yeah.
You see, blue. I got nothing.
It's because color theory, where's color theory?
Yeah.
Color theory.
It's cool
Where are
and
you? God, this
fresh.
thing is so fucking long.
Blue as a brand is the color
Yeah,
of peace,
cool,
and Reebok
cool,
is all about
fresh.
peace.
That's actually really fucking similar.
Is it?
Yeah. I'm curious. Where's Photoshop Express? I want to see how close these are.
Oh, are you going to do the dipper tool?
Yeah.
Duh.
I want to see how close they are because these are like really close. Create new. Oh, did Photoshop crash? No, there we go. It's
Photoshop
back.
doesn't want to deal with this. That pitch document was probably made in Photoshop.
File. Paste. So we have. Oh, wait, where's the RGB? There we go. 377, 138 is Reebok. And Pepsi is. Just do a quick screen snip from this little Pepsi Max logo. Go ahead and do another. Where's my layer? Oh, I can cancel that. Give me my layer. I want to paste. Move it up to the top here. This one. 196, 165. That's very close.
Can you say that one more time right next to each other?
Let me actually do a quick screen grab of this and then
Okay.
the other one. So that'll be easier to do. So that's the Pepsi.
Okay.
Cancel that. Go
Pepsi
back to the Reebok
currently
layer.
sitting at 0160A5 for all you hexadecimal users out there.
And then, oops, dropper, screen snip. Here's Reebok.
0159A3. Oh my god.
It is very close.
Do you think they actually went to the color themselves, like itself, like on like the color wheel, you know? Like
Yeah.
they just generally knew that was a good shade and like, oh my god. That's dangerously close.
it is so close that on like the physical color spectrum,
Yeah.
I can't tell the difference apart.
No, like you need to be like a mantis shrimp to tell like the fine details between these two colors.
Yeah.
Pepsi might be a little darker.
I
Might.
think. Oh, actually, I can do a quick compare.
Are we colorblind? I know guys are more likely to be colorblind. I feel colorblind at this moment.
I don't think so. So I have that one selected. So it is slightly different, but it is slight. The Pepsi blue is a little bit more white,
Hmm.
but I would have no way of knowing that without literally putting them side by side. No, I do not want to save any of this.
You fool.
All right, you want to talk social medias?
Oh fuck, that's what we I'm sorry that
This
my
will
Pepsi
be quick.
spiral went so crazy. Go on.
So I think it's safe to ignore a lot of them right off the top. When you
Yeah.
talk about like established social medias as Twitter alternatives specifically, Discord doesn't make sense. Reddit, Tumblr don't make sense. LinkedIn, get the fuck out of here. To me, that leaves three main hitters being Threads, which I feel like most people kind of know about at this point, even though it's kind of petered off a bit.
Yeah.
With the next two being Blue Sky and Mastodon. And both seem to have their niches for it. Where Mastodon feels more to me like in between Discord and Twitter, if that kind of makes sense. Where because everything's kind of in like, it's like if everybody was on one Discord server and there's only one channel.
That sounds annoying.
And that's a bit of an extreme description of it, but that's just kind of the vibe where
No.
it's like everything's kind of there. It's all for you to see, and you can use tools to do it. But uh, I'll say, as somebody who signed up for Mastodon on I did it through kind.social, which is one that I had heard other people I knew who were using it for.
Hmm.
But because I signed up on that server, I wanted to follow somebody on a different server. I couldn't because of how kind.social was set up. So I had to go through the process of transitioning my kind.social account to the main mastodon.social account. And it was fucking awful. The short of it, how you do that, is you have to make a second account on the new server you want to go to. On your new account, you have to set it up as in like a receiving mode in order for it to be ready to change over. On your old account, you set it to then transfer everything over to the new account, basically linking them. And then it transfers over all of your like follower information. But it is still a new account. It's basically just designating that new account as your primary one and copying over your followers list.
That's really annoying.
It is. Mastodon is the kind of thing where it's like, I get what you're trying to do. It's cool that it's open source, but I don't think this is the.
This is not the
It's
way.
not what most people want.
Yeah.
Twitter and Blue Sky as well have a bit of obscurity built into them, where it's not immediately obvious what you need to do sometimes, but it's not. I need to go look up like a GitHub page to figure out what the fuck I'm supposed to do.
Hmm.
Dense. And that's how it felt doing through that process. Like it felt like something that I shouldn't be allowed or I shouldn't know what to do as the end user, and that was not a good feeling. So Blue Sky though, I've been on there for a few weeks now. You've been on there for not quite a week,
A few days.
few days. Yeah, I guess that's true. I am quite fond of it so far.
It's the most like Twitter I've had.
Mhm. It has its heart in the right place,
Yeah, that's
even
a good
though
way of
it's
putting
not
it.
there yet.
What I think most people don't know about, and I was kind of stunned to hear they did this, was they let you customize your algorithm a little bit.
Uh huh.
Never thought any social media website would have the balls to do that.
It's really cool because you can go in and write your own algorithm to do that for you. You don't even have to like customize it. You can just write your own.
Yeah.
and you can then share that with other people. And I do think that's one of its best things, where Twitter has always had this dynamic of chronological or algorithmic. And you get one or the other, there's no in between. And they've tried things with like lists and circles, and they've picked up to a degree, but kind of iffy for like the average user, where you don't want to deal with that kind of shit. You just want to go out and look at certain people's posts.
Yeah.
And Blue Sky has figured out a way to make those sorts of features interesting and useful. It just needs to get the interesting people part figured out now. So you can have both. If it gets more interesting people to go along with this really good like custom algorithm thing, it's going to be good.
That's the big problem. It is so small at the moment. I feel like I see the same 5 people every time I go on.
Yep.
Yeah. And I don't even follow that many people. That the discover feature, you know who's who in Blue Sky right now. I do also appreciate, and this might be something for all the other people on the fence, no brand accounts yet.
Yes. Not yet. It'll probably happen eventually,
Yeah.
but it is refreshing. No brand accounts, no ads.
Very few politicians.
It feels very much like an even playing field.
Yeah. We're on the ground floor, baby. Crypto
Yep.
all the way.
You can also tell how it hasn't reached into certain circles yet, where like you mentioning that there's like this very strong furry presence on
Yeah.
it,
Hmm.
because it's spread in throughout that circle. And I'm noticing now that it's kind of crossed the furry to furry artist barrier, it's starting to pull in people who do art for like Dota and Magic the Gathering, and it's starting to creep out into that way.
I've actually seen some comic book artists and writers
Mhm.
also start getting on there as well.
The art presence is very big. And I
Yeah.
think as that continues, eventually the artists are going to run out of other artists to share their links with, and it's going to start going down into their followers,
Yeah.
particularly among the smaller ones, and then it'll work its way out from there.
It's really a community that has to do it, invite the right people to build the interest at the moment.
Yep. There's also some very the way that some of the people have set up their algorithms, I think, is very interesting. There's
Go
one
on.
in particular that I follow that is exclusively for birds, bird pictures, and bird related content. And they've set it up so that anybody can request to be added to a whitelist, where if you post something with a feather emoji, it'll detect that and push it to the bird's feed.
I
And
like
it's
it.
super simple, but it works really well.
Yeah.
And you get really fun organic things where there was somebody who was just like, hey, post pictures of vultures. And a bunch of people did. Or, hey, show me your owls. And people do. And it just works well. It's self-policing in a lot of ways. And I've actually seen some posts from the furry side where they're acknowledging, like, yeah, we're pushing out further than we want to with this kind of stuff, and here's some tools to rein that in.
Hey.
One of the biggest things that I've seen requested so far still is an ability to be able to pick on a per account basis whether you want to view that person's explicit content or not, rather than having it be site wide or not.
Wow. Are they actually listening to the community before they put in features?
Yeah, it seems like they kind of are,
Yeah.
which is cool. It's different, but it's been good.
By George, we may escape them yet.
I'll say, when I first started on it, one of the things that I found to be the most annoying that seems to more or less have gone away was the pretty much like constant like Twitter bashing. Like I get there's a lot of people that are going to Blue Sky because they're done with Twitter. They're tired of having spending their time there, but I also don't want to be reminded of that fact every third post. And it seems like that's eased up quite a lot lately.
I've seen a lot of it. I think it
Mhm.
it may just be like how the algorithm defaults to new users before
It
they
could
start.
be. That
Yeah.
makes sense. Where it figures out where you need to go.
Yeah, because a lot of people would probably go. The first post on Blue Sky would be "fuck you, Twitter."
Yep.
Yeah. So if I was an algorithm and I wanted to like put a whole bunch of people who may have similar interests together, I'd probably do it based off where they came from, like what time
Yep.
they enrolled.
Something else that's a bit lacking
Mm-hmm.
so far, and it's just inherent to the limited nature of it, is this is going to sound weird, but the bot accounts that post things haven't really come in yet,
That
like
too.
automated accounts.
The most I found is bodega cats.
Bodega Cats is great.
Yes, that is
There
the
is
account.
a Possums Every Hour one as well that is sort of laying the groundwork for the Animals Every Hour stuff, but
Mm.
so far it is just possums.
Understandable. Understandable.
Yeah. And those are the kinds of things that got shut down on Twitter because they wanted money to use their service, which is stupid for people just posting animal pictures. So yeah, Blue Sky, I highly rate it.
I highly rate it too.
It's got some problems still in terms of its like functionality. It is noticeably slower at certain times than other social medias, where you'll like hit something and it'll hang for a second while it pulls it up. And as well, you can't post video, text and
Yet.
images only.
Mhm.
Yet, I kind of hope it stays that way to a degree.
I don't like video content on social media.
I don't dislike it, but in terms of practicality, video takes up a lot of space. And if they can take the strong, positive art community that they have right now and just be like, yeah, we're not going to throttle the quality that you post of your pictures, I'd prefer to see that. And like, just let, if people want video shit, just let TikTok and Reddit stay what they're doing.
Yeah.
That was the biggest flaw. The biggest mistake Reddit made was hosting its own video because it just costs so fucking much. Oh, I have something else that we need to talk about.
Okay.
The Linus Tech Tips controversies this last week.
What happened?
Have you heard about this?
No.
Oh boy. Uh, you're in for some treats here. Let me see if they've updated the Wikipedia page. Because that would save me a lot of time. Linus Media Group controversies. Yep, it's been
Uh-oh.
updated. So on June, sorry, no, I'm gonna pull up YouTube real quick. Earlier this week, uh, tech YouTube channel Gamers Nexus uploaded a video detailing concerns that they had with the Linus Tech Tips methodology and the nature of their reviews. They titled it The Problem with Linus Tech Tips: Accuracy, Ethics, and Responsibility. And the criticisms that they outlined hinged primarily on inconsistent test results that they were generating and reporting that they seemed to not be questioning further or were seeing that there was something wrong and publishing them anyways.
Mm.
Um, Taking a particular product that was given to them by the company with for no cost and kind of disparaging that company unfairly through the review process while they were very obviously and admittingly using it for a purpose that it was not designed for, and then other controversies related to that I'll get to in a second, and then just general methodology problems where Gamers Nexus is a channel that has been reviewing rigorously tech products, graphics cards, CPUs for years. And now Linus Tech Tips with their labs program is trying to push more into that space. And in Gamers Nexus opinion, they are not demonstrating the proficiency that they should in doing so. Their results are inconsistent or nonsensical, and Linus Tech Tips needs to either spend more time or more money or hire more people to fix these problems, because right now the concern is that it might be misleading consumers.
Okay, yeah,
So
I'm with that.
that general thing is one thing.
Mhm.
As it specifically relates to the specific product there's this controversy about, on June 24th, 2023, Linux Tech Tips uploaded a video showing the Billet Labs dual water block, a water cooling block designed to cool both a an RTX 3090 Ti and an Intel CPU with one piece of hardware. However, they decided to test it on a 4090, which is a much hotter running card with different architecture. It did not perform well because, many reasons. It's not really the point. But as a result, they went on to not recommend and kind of drag the product through the mud in the video. And when they were called on it, like, hey, you clearly used this incorrectly or against the way that the manufacturer recommends, they were pretty dismissive of that and said that regardless of what we did, it's still a bad product, even though they review, luxury products all the time. So that wasn't great. There has since been some resolution to those problems where they've acknowledged that they clearly have process problems. Their work is not meeting the standards that they would set for themselves or set for others. And they have reached out to Billet and they have agreed to compensate them for the cost of the block because they didn't return it, which was kind of shitty of them. Um, Along with that. So that is not done, but relatively tampered down. The bad part came about 2 days after a Gamers Nexus video, where a former Linus Media Group employee, Madison Reeve, posted a long thread on Twitter with allegations of sexual assault, hostile work environments, among other serious accusations among the work culture at Linus Media Group.
Oh no.
It is a very long thread.
Okay.
It is very hard to read, right? Because this is someone that has been around on the internet for a very long time, and everybody, I think for a large part, people have looked up to them for a while, and to hear these allegations come to light is exceptionally disappointing. Madison Reeve specifically was hired into LTT to be a social media coordinator. Before she was hired, she was told that she would be allowed to continue her personal social media positions on, I believe she was produced YouTube videos and did Twitch streaming. After she was brought over and moved to Canada, she was told that that would not be allowed to happen. And certain concessions were made, but it still negatively impacted her personal, work that she was doing outside of Linus Tech Tips. So that sucked to start with. While she was at Linus Tech Tips, she has reported in her Twitter thread uh, things including assault, sexism, many different types of inappropriate conduct, seemingly stemming from a particular manager that was lying about her work and the quality of her work to their, further superiors, including that she was inappropriately grabbed multiple times, was asked about both her and her boyfriend's sexual history, that a coworker repeatedly told her to work for them, and was berated with sexist slurs. Says that
Mm.
she attempted to address these incidents towards higher ups, but was merely told to be more assertive and was subsequently jeered at in a meeting for this. She alleged she was purposely given false information to hinder her work, and that she had been told the real information by other employees. She was reportedly scolded for taking sick days, which drove her to commit self harm because she saw it as the only way in her mind to take a day off without being harassed for a reason why. Managers at LMG reportedly accused Reeve of bad time management skills when she aired her mental health problems. Said that she did not previously make these allegations public because she feared even more backlash from a community that was already attacking, defaming, and sending her death threats. That her experience has been eating away at her for 2 years since she left LMG. According to her, the company suffered from problems with ego and the bottom line, and that there was an internal paranoia about employees leaving the company and setting up their own content creation platforms. In an email to The Verge, Linus Sebastian said that Reeves' allegations aren't consistent with his recollections, but said that Linus Media Group's Human Resources Department will be conducting an internal review and that they'll be hiring an outside investigator and publishing those findings. Not mentioned in this, that I think is also particularly shitty, is that she was hired in as a social media manager role, which means posting shit to Twitter and TikTok and everything, right? And that she brought up multiple times that the equipment that she was given to do her job with was inadequate, particularly that it didn't have enough RAM to run the programs that they used at LMG adequately, and that it would cause crashing and stuttering. And that No matter how many times she brought it up to her manager, nothing was done by it until she brought it up to a fellow coworker who assisted her with requisitioning and installing the additional hardware that she needed to actually do her job. So yeah, it's pretty fucking bad, and it is incredibly disheartening.
Yeah, that's
The
kind of crazy for a tech channel of all
mm,
places.
yeah, the bare minimum that I see that needs to come out of this in order for any sort of right to be had is that at least this specific manager that seemed to be in a multitude of ways berating and just being exceptionally hostile to one of their reports needs to be identified and removed. If the end result of this is no change, that'll have been a clear failure by whatever investigator they brought in. So yeah, bit of a dour note to end on, but slipped my mind earlier, and it felt important to mention.
I think that is very important to mention, actually.
Yeah.
However, now we have to pull up like what 3 Pepsi documents to make up for that.
Oh no.
Anything else for the show, Mr. Chiral, or do you want to, stop while you're ahead?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Well, I'm Mr. Ryan, and I've been a Schmel,
And I'm Cairo, and I've been a Schmo.
and I'm thoroughly depressed now.